listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text... Oh, no, don't text the show, this says. Why not? Why don't they text the show?
No, do text.
Oh, she gave me the wrong date. Do text the show. Ignore that.
Oh.
Text the show. No, really. On 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Text the show.
Please.
If you want.
Steve!
We want your text.
I mean, there
Steve!
are other options.
Steve, text the show. Oh, sorry, he's been sick. Text the show after you've been sick, mate.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, you'll be all right, Steve. How many Steves do you think we got listening this morning? Don't text in, because I wouldn't take the money off you for that, but I bet there's over 10,000.
Well, Frank,
Yeah.
I said at the end of the show last week that I think we were talking about how Prince William... I'm not going to reenact the whole last hour.
Well, let's get nostalgic about the hour I wasn't here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Frank, we missed you. But... There was one highlight, which was I was talking
Sure there
about
were
Prince
many.
William and how he liked to be called Steve by his friends at St Andrews,
Okay.
which I thought was a strange name for a royal. And then I had loads of people texting me in the week, not texting me, I don't give these people my number, tweeting me saying there was a King Stephen. So I'd like to apologise to our readers who, as ever, were very vigilant.
I did not know that. Every day's a
Stephen.
school day on this show.
Not England, no, was there? Was there one in England? King Stephen.
I believe so. I don't know. I'm sure they'll tell us. Also, we're getting lots of lovely messages in about your appearance last night on the Sports Relief.
Yes, I noticed when they showed the montage on BBC News this morning, it's mainly people rowing and sweating over They don't show people from the panel shows.
You did a panel game. Much easier.
They don't value that as a contribution.
Much easier than the year did all that swimming.
Exactly, it was much easier. I don't know, you obviously haven't worked with Paddy McGuinness. It's a battle in many ways. God bless him. He was funny.
I was relieved you'd done that swim because they go through and then you did this and you climbed that mountain and you did the cycling and I thought, oh, Frank, thank God you did that swim. It would have been so embarrassing.
I did the odd day. I did a day running with Eddie Izzard, a day running with John Bishop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm brought in as a utility.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Paul Madeley, the old Leeds United player.
Right.
Utility man.
There's a pick-me-up for people that are doing long runs. You're like a sort of cheer-me-up
exactly,
figure.
exactly, yeah. I mean, you know, when you think I can't go on, and then I come round the corner, you think, well, maybe I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
nice,
It's
isn't
the
it?
ledge effect.
The ledge effect.
Yeah. You should know that. Al.
Yeah. I actually
for
thought
goodness.
that was referring to a well-known effect called the ledge effect.
It was some scientific discovery.
What is this? Like the Laffer curve, the ledge effect?
Do you know, by the way, do you know when they have, like, I suppose it's a sort of radio for gentle English comedy type thing, and they read out things from, like, funny headlines from the paper that sort of mislead and...
Yes.
They
Yes.
do around like that on the
think,
news
well,
quiz.
I never see those, ever. And then this week, I don't know if they'd read it out because it's a bit dark, but I saw...
So you're going to now?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Do you know Heather Locklear, the actress?
I do.
She was involved in
Sammy Joe.
the incident. And the headline was Heather Locklear charged with battery. I thought, I wonder how she's kept going all these years.
Very good.
I was really pleased with it. I actually did like you know when you can do a photo grab on your phone?
Yeah.
I did that.
Oh, you might have some explaining to do.
That's exciting when that works. It reminded me of when I was in Edinburgh and there was a shop that said watch batteries fitted.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that's not much of a spectator sport.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had a question in from Miles Oru,
Okay.
who says, "Hi Emily, I'd love to know, as Frank is not a fan of the oppressive 12ths, does the same apply to putting petrol in his car? And does he fill up to the nearest rounded number, i.e. £20, or stop when his heart desires?"
I'll tell you what I do.
Do you stop when your heart desires, Frank Skinner?
No, I do second click.
Dear.
So I do. You know when it tells you it's full?
Oh,
I always do another. I mean, it's a matter of seconds, but I do second click, so you really feel that even where the dial is showing full, it's probably a bit fuller than that, but the dial can't actually register how full it is.
Why do you do that then? You just like the feeling of your own munificence?
Because I always find it an immense chore to stop and put petrol in. Such a pain.
Knowing the car needs fuel is... I don't want to overstate this, but it is one of the most depressing feelings on earth.
Oh, people might tune in and think we're quite fortunate in our lives.
Yes, exactly.
Although what I would say, Frank, I always go by the money. I find it interesting that you go by the mechanism.
Well, I don't need to watch the money. I'll be straight with you. I've never filled a car up and think, oh my God, I can't afford that. Well, I have, but not for a long time.
Can I just say, I think the point Miles Oru is making, it's not that you're thinking, oh, I can't afford it. It's more that you want it to be nice. There's a symmetry about hitting the three zeros.
There was a where was he from? Somewhere in Central America. He was a serial killer.
Oh, lovely.
And he killed 200 people. And I always thought...
Can you just say where it was, maybe, so we know at least?
I always thought he was a weird bloke to kill 200 exactly. I bet when he goes to the garage, he has to get it exactly. Yeah. And if he doesn't get it exactly, you don't want to be that person on the counter. Let's put it that way.
Well, I'm not going to tell you how I fill my petrol up.
Exactly £20 a time.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not suggesting you're a serial killer. If you were, that's, you'd want the...
I could have it in me when pushed.
What could there be anything worse than the serial killer who likes a round number? It means he's constantly pressed forward.
True. Emily, if you put in if you're trying to put in exactly £20, let's say, I'm picking a figure.
Try 50, mate.
What if it rolls on by like a penny or 3 pence? Do you then have to go to the next 10 or do you go to a fiver?
I'll go the next 10.
Can I say I'm a bit worried that I said he about serial killers? That was a bit sexist.
Don't think so.
I'm sure there are female. Has there not been female serial killers?
But
there will be.
Don't text in about Exes.
There will be when I'm done.
The enormous numbers are men.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
What do you
fine.
put that down?
I mean, I'm not saying it's fine.
Staying power?
I don't think it's fine.
Psychological stamina? Is that what you're saying?
Oh,
okay. Don't tell me people are going to say, how dare you suggest we couldn't be efficient serial killers?
I think they might.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I went to... Yes.
Well, I was going to say something.
Oh, no, go
I'm
on.
sorry to interrupt.
No,
It is
it's
a bit
all
of a
right.
hold all calls moment.
Is
Okay.
it?
David Lister, I mean, you may not be familiar with him. I'm saying it like you'll know his name. But David Lister, he's one of our readers. He's been in touch and he has some news for you, Frank. The second click on petrol pump, he's using the Tom Chance vernacular.
Yeah.
The second click on petrol pump puts fuel back into the pump. Oh, my God.
I mean,
I don't think that's correct.
you
I think
nearly
the
said,
money-
I don't believe it.
Yes.
That would have been
I
great.
think the money goes up. So how does that happen?
Well, you would say that.
Oh.
No.
Oh, I see.
No.
So not only do you get charged for it,
No.
but they're having a bit back. That's a double
The money
whammy.
goes
No,
up
I
and the
don't-
petrol goes
It
out.
can't.
Oh.
The money couldn't go up if it was. So if I kept clicking, I could empty the car.
That's fraud. Yeah.
And would the money gauge go down as I
Yeah.
it could carry on like that all day?
No, that's not right, is it?
No, I'm sorry.
Well, anyone with any experience of forecourt work, perhaps they could get in touch this morning.
Yeah, any
I want to rephrase that question, but yeah.
any
Petrol technician.
pump
Yeah.
meister, a pump meister.
Oh, I love a pump meister.
Meister.
How often now do you remember when I first started driving, when you pulled up at the garage, there was a person standing there to put the petrol in for you?
Rare now.
When I first started driving, all the wheels fell off, like one of those black and white films.
Well, there was a time we couldn't talk about Emily's age on the show without me having to play the theme from Day of the Triffids. Do you remember that? Now, she's doing the gags.
I know.
Times have changed. Speaking of cars,
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what I saw. I think this qualifies as a Whatever happened to... I saw a Volkswagen car that had the badge stolen.
Oh, wow.
I mean, come on, memory lane. It was actually parked in memory lane. But it made me think... Oh.
It's the fact that you're using a phrase like memory lane with like rappers who take off those symbols.
I know, but it really... Because crime it has a fashion thing, doesn't it? I'd say it's more fickle than the actual fashion industry.
Yeah.
Crime's come in and go. I mean, look at the acids. Hasn't been one for ages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mopeds is a thing now, but, you know.
Car radios, not so much.
No.
Oh, that used to be such a thing.
Oh, do you remember those that used
the car radios?
I used to take the radio out
I did.
and then carry it wherever I was going and carry it in like a little briefcase.
Like a futuristic...
Seems absurd now, doesn't it?
I treated it as a futuristic handbag.
Nice.
Little handle you'd hold it on.
I got into the habit of thinking I don't want to carry this around, so I'd take it out and put it under my chair because it got pinched.
Well, those were the days. People would come into your house
Happy slapping. What happened to that?
Oh.
I'd even forgotten about happy slapping.
You know, I met the bloke who got the word into, I think it was the Times.
Oh,
sorry.
Heavens.
I met a guy who had written an article in the Times educational supplement, and he said it's the first use of happy slapping in print, and he'd got it in the dictionary.
Oh.
Well, small claim to fame.
I wish now I'd got a jingle that said whatever slapping to. Also, do you remember
horrible,
that? When I look back on these like I might look at Houndstooth Check when everyone was wearing that. Do you remember there was a massive craze in stealing bronze sculptures and melting them down? That was Henry Moore.
Oh, they were.
He was your man,
Henry
Moore. Barbara Hepworth had a couple done. It was massive. For a while.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive. It was a sort of, I suppose, a reworking in the way that the current ripped jeans are, sort of working of the 80s sort of Bros look.
In many ways.
So it was a reworking of the old lead off the church roof of the 50s and 60s.
Well, I was sort of priced out of that crime. I only had an estate rather than a van. That was the trouble.
I mean, that's why. Remember the Hatton Garden robbery?
Yeah.
Which was good old-fashioned gold, diamonds, cash.
Yeah.
All the blokes were about 70.
They were.
Because they weren't on trend.
No.
Sort of retro robbery.
We've also had an email that I feel
Hold on, I've got Daisy.
Oh, yeah.
Has bounced back from the no text moment, and now he's pressuring me to shut up.
Oh, okay.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Lee has been in touch.
Lee's been in touch.
Lee...
I really hope it's Lee Merriweather who played Catwoman in the Batman movie.
No, it's Lee who describes himself as being powered by common sense.
Oh, wow.
So you'll be delighted to hear he agrees with you about the petrol pump.
Oh.
Second click does not put fuel back in the pump. There's no return valve.
Well, that's what I thought.
No.
The pump senses...
I've used that line a few times.
Wowie.
Wowie.
The pump senses the tank is full. I didn't know the pump was capable of such complex emotions.
That's what the click is all about.
It must do.
That's what the first click is. It's saying it's full now.
The pump senses the tank is full via a small tube at the end of the middle, which picks up pressure building in the tank due to it being full.
At the end of the middle.
Yeah.
Oh, we're missing Hawking already.
I felt like
we've got sloppy in our science almost immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it didn't make any sense. I
think it's mostly
really
good
didn't.
info, though.
Look, here's the conversation.
The important thing is you were right.
The conversation between the car and the pump is the car says, meaning I'm full now. The pump says, let's just see, shall we? And then, no, I'm really, really full now. Pump says, fair enough.
Do you know what?
That's the conversation.
Do you know what? I found that so adorable because that's clearly someone with a child, the way you explain that.
Yeah.
But I have never...
And also, it directly contradicts what he just emailed us. But anyway.
No, I don't think it does.
I think it does. I think he's saying that
it's got a bit tense.
The pump is what's saying, oh, you're full now, to the car. He's saying that there's
okay, fair enough. I'll just let me just change that on my final draft.
I mean, it's just a bit of sloppiness from the writers.
You can still get, here's a whatever up too.
Go on.
The court stenographers used to sit there.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
I love
what was
them.
it? Why didn't they just have a typing thing? What is a stenographer?
Good. That is a great
Yeah, why
texting.
weren't they just typists?
Also, something I have never done. Now, here I am, a man now
this will be
in
interesting.
my twilight years. I've never, ever had the guts to go third click.
Oh.
I don't know what would happen if you went third click. Would it start spilling out to the actual tank?
That's my worry, is fuel on the actual vehicle.
Although I think that has happened to me.
Oh,
I get distracted
Let's
sometimes.
keep it clean.
stressy, isn't it?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've also had an email on my Friday night troll. You know, I read the emails that come in on Friday evenings.
Yes, I know
Yeah.
that.
I just like it. Just don't feel like they should be overlooked.
It's a good thing.
I love that.
You know, we have this thing that how can I explain it? The Big Mo moment, where people tell people a thing as if it's an unusual fact, but everybody knows it.
Yes.
Is that pretty much, have I caught up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's based on the fact that Big Mo from EastEnders is Gary Oldman's
Indeed.
sister, which you tell people that even though there's about 4 people now in Britain who don't know.
And last week we were discussing earlier, we had Professor Brian Cox being in
Was in
D-Re.
D-Re.
Yeah, I mean,
Good
that's
shout.
another fine example of it.
Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, I write with the hope of landing in the net with the rest of the Friday night troll. Just wanted to point out that Frank is often guilty of his own big moment on the show. Whenever foot size is mentioned, he always tells us readers that Kate Winslet has size 9 feet, like it is
9.5, actually.
like it is a fact only a few people know. While I admit it was from your show that I first heard this fact, it was a long time ago when she rescued Richard Branson's mum from that fire.
She stamped it out, that fire.
Indeed. In the intervening years, we must have heard this fact from Frank at least 20 times.
It's a worry, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brackets enough to count on Kate's fingers and toes. So congratulations, well done to Frank for creating his very
One of
own
mine.
Big Mo amongst your readers. Perhaps this could be a way of fans of the show to recognise each other. IRL, I don't know what that means.
In real life.
Oh, in real life.
Youth correspondent here. Thank you.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're right. I think. Does it count if you're the one that's brought the fact originally to the public's attention?
Yeah, it's
a sort of self-basting big moment.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But you're quite right. I probably do mention it, which is a worry. What's with the obsession?
Yeah, what's the obsession with Kate Winslet's
next thing
feet?
you know, I'll be on the Bigfoot Babes website.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Very
I
good.
think I'm going to fall for that
Very
one,
good.
Your Honour.
You covered up that pause brilliantly.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, he's not into paws. Feet, he's into.
That's more my thing.
But you know what? You start on feet. This is it with the internet.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're looking at paws.
Hey, Frank, do you remember on Celebrity Big Brother when Mel C used a unit of measurement to describe something and she said a cat's paw? Was it Mel C? Who was it? No, it wasn't. It was Lady Sovereign.
Oh,
She said it was a small amount, like a cat's paw's worth of food.
That's good.
Yeah.
I knew Lady Sovereign would leave behind some sort of legacy.
Yeah, Lady Sov.
That was it. I think she might have wrote Hamilton.
You think?
It had her DNA all over it, I have to say.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I tell you, popular comedy double act, Baddiel and Skinner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm aware of their work.
It can now be revealed that we're back.
Are you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I call them now?
What's that?
Baddiel and Thinner.
Oh.
Come on.
Skinnier.
Dave will be texting you about that.
Dealing skinnier.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you've kept your figure, David.
Yes.
I'm going to do it one more time.
Sorry, what was it?
Dealing skinnier.
Oh,
You've refined.
It's just, I thought we were going to...
workshopping my joke.
Yeah.
That's the last time I'll do it.
It's Yes, so we worked together this week professionally.
Did you?
Lovely. What were you up to? Were we allowed to know?
You going to the Russia World Cup? Is that?
It's of a similar level to
It's
that.
on football. It's football related.
No, it's not football related.
Oh.
It's a bit of quite a big deal. We advertised a pension guidance service. You get to an age where those are the offers that come in.
Oh yeah.
And it's an advert, but it's an advert, but it's not for a company. It's for, I suppose, it's for.
It's for the government. It's
for the government. It's advertising.
Gov.co.uk / /
So it's almost like a civic duty that you did.
I tell you what. Do you remember those? Did they used to be called public information?
They
films?
sure did.
And it was always retrieving a frisbee from a pylon.
Oh yeah, that was a good
that
one.
was a
that
weird one.
nightmares
My
about
favourite
those.
was don't
Timmy!
Do you remember don't overcrowd your car?
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Oh, well, the early ones, they were they were technology free. They were the most basic. There was one called "Wear Something White at Night."
Oh yeah, it's a good rule.
There was a lot. The Green Cross Code were part of those as well.
Well,
This
this is of that ilk,
Yeah.
I would say. It's
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
oh well, it's
I'll be sat on my leather Chesterfield.
Starts this week. To be honest, I think we both thought there's a gap for a double act at the moment. There's a vacancy,
Yeah.
so we're back in.
How? Okay. How did it go?
Oh, well, it was Dave directed me throughout, of course,
Did he?
but I love him for that in a way. We were down in Broccoli,
Yeah.
which, as
Okay.
Dave points out, is Professor Green country.
Oh yeah.
And which I pointed out is ironic, as broccoli is one of the primary greens that we encourage people to.
And so, what sort of does Dave give you notes throughout the day?
Well, I love Dave, like Dave, but yeah, he does lean across and say, "I think you could give that a bit less." Or, I think I did it to him a bit as well.
Right.
He takes it a lot better than I do.
Really?
I want to
I
see
get
the
grumpy
making of the pensions advert. I would pay good money
That
to
sounds
see
good. Yeah.
90 minutes. I'd want of that. 90 minutes of these two.
It's I mean, it was all the tea we could drink for a start off. That was great.
Tell us about the deal now.
But
All the tea we could drink.
the feel of it, I'd say
cake.
it's like if you could, it's sort of
Didn't even get a tenner for turning up.
yeah, we fell down that pothole, but we have got MasterChef. It's sort of the feel of it. I would say is Peter Cook and Dudley Moore if they'd been in Last of the Summer Wine.
Do you know, that sounds lovely.
Nice
Yeah.
mash-up.
It's
yeah.
got
Yeah.
that. It has got a lovely two old mates, and it was nice to spend the day together. I must say,
Good.
apart from when he was directing me.
He's so going to text me any minute.
No, he's going to text me saying, "I was not directing you." Well, maybe 5 times, but that's my impression of him.
Oh,
What do
well,
you think?
I can't wait to see that this week.
Well, it's all over Sky this week apparently.
Oh,
And it's
live on Sky.
So if you got problems with not sure about your pensions,
Yeah.
tune in. That's my advice.
Tune in to an ad.
Tune in. It'll be on. Will it be on the internet?
Oh, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it might be there now.
Might.
I'll give you a minute while the news is on. You can have a gander.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
We've got a bit of
Bit of trouble.
bit of business.
Okay.
So I'm going to do an Elvis and take care of this business.
TCB.
Yeah. Do you remember, Frank, earlier this morning, David Lister got in touch for a bit of a contradiction. Do you recall that moment?
Yes, he told me that my second click when I was putting petrol in the car actually took petrol out of the car and put it back in the pump.
Yeah.
Seems strange to
Absurd.
me.
Absurd.
But wasn't I... I
you-
disbelieved it, and I think I got a bit of backup, didn't I, from
think
one of
so.
our...
Well, you did, but he's now come back. He's becoming something of a Moriarty figure in your life.
Okay.
And he said, if you look at the petrol nozzle, he's actually attached someone else's explanation, we should say.
Okay.
But he says, if you look at the petrol nozzle, you'll see that alongside the large nozzle where the fuel comes out is a small opening.
Yeah.
That is a suction, which senses when the fuel is reaching full. When fuel is sucked up by the little hole instead of air, it clicks. That's why, if you click more and more, you're losing more fuel. Admittedly not much, to the little sucker pipe.
Oh, wow.
I was saying I've never had the courage to do the third click. The courage to look down the petrol pipe.
Yeah.
In my mind, that could only possibly go one way. I'd be covered in petrol, and then someone would walk past on their mobile phone, and I'd be a human torch.
Yeah. I can only assume the people brave enough to look down a petrol pump have never spent any of their life watching slapstick comedy. Like, they must have
Or
never
Zoolander.
seen that. Yeah.
Big moment in Zoolander.
Never
that.
seen Laurel and Hardy. There's,
No,
what's wrong with
weird.
these people?
Yeah.
What would you do if you became a human torch? 8, 12, 15.
Roll
Well, I
on the
think your
floor.
options would be limited.
I'd like to get in my car and drive away just to see the faces of oncoming
Goodness.
drivers when they saw a human torch driving a BMW down the road.
We've had a short anecdote as well texted to us from a petrol pump attendant. Dear all, this is 462.
Popmeister?
Dear
Yeah,
all,
Popmeister.
I was a PPA (brackets petrol pump attendant)
Lovely.
in my youth in a quaint rural garage. They continue.
Yeah.
Many an anecdote, but won't bore you.
Oh.
It's never stopped me.
The best one though was the front wheel of my own Mark I Escort parting company with the car as I turned onto the forecourt, at which point my witty boss, who was serving petrol at the time, turned to the customer and asked whether he'd met John the tyre fitter.
Oh, that's good.
Good.
That would fit into a great many sitcoms.
Yeah, it
As-
really would.
As a jewel in the crown.
And
Yeah.
that's regards John in Brentwood. It was
Okay.
And there'd
many
be
an anecdote.
perhaps one of your lovely little jingles, Frank, after it happened.
Oh,
when
for,
the escort parted company
Okay,
with the car.
let's try it.
So he's driving in.
Yeah. There you go. There goes the tyre.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, hold on. It's become. I've got the fares all ready
Oh.
to shut off. I haven't really
Nothing
said
else,
anything
then.
yet.
Nothing.
I haven't heard anything from David Baddiel.
No, well, that's
So I think it's all
that's a
right.
good thing. Well, I said I loved him. What do they want, these people?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I want to talk about the royal wedding.
Always.
Okay?
Every week.
Every week until
As
it
much
happens.
as I can.
And then for about 3 weeks after. That's my timetable. What about you?
I'm excited by these kids. I like them.
Yeah.
However,
Mhm.
Yes.
I have to say, I think they've made their first very poor decision.
Do you?
Yes. Can I tell you what it is?
Get married.
No, I think that's a lovely little decision if that's for you.
Go on then.
But apparently there are going to be 3 exes at the wedding. And we should say that's just 3 he's declaring, if you know what I mean.
3 of his as well.
Yeah.
Not 3 between them, like 2 and 1.
No.
Like 3 of his exes.
Cressida Bonus, Chelsea Davy and Ellie Goulding.
Legend!
Yeah.
Come on, we're all
Davy.
thinking it.
I always think Chelsea Davy. When I first heard he was going out with Chelsea Davy, I was expecting a sort of 18th century highwayman to be. Oh, it'd be Chelsea Davy on the road. But no, it's actually lovely young posh woman.
Yeah. That seems to be his taste, doesn't it?
Yeah. It
So-
said that Ellie Goulding's boyfriend will be there as an old mate of his, who's called Casper.
Mm-hmm.
So Chelsea, Cressida and Casper will be there. He truly is the people's prince. Lively.
The papers are making quite a meal out of Meghan Markle's understanding of this situation. That
Well, you don't want to ever be described as understanding.
You don't
That's
think?
bad.
No.
Well, I just think that could, you know.
yeah,
That's like that his wife has said she'll stand by him.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know that I think there's still a sting in the tail coming because I've seen the table plan and not only are all 3 of the exes sat together, they're on
Yeah.
like a subs bench and they're wearing wedding dresses.
Oh, no, that's a bad idea.
I just
seems-
think it's very polite and understanding of her to agree to the invitations, but I think they should do the decent thing and do what I believe is popularly called in Hollywood, it's called a gracious decline.
Oh, really?
They should graciously decline.
No way would
Because-
I race. I tell you what, they will do. I bet the three of them look fantastic on that day. Boy, will they go to town.
3 days in hair and makeup.
Wow.
At least.
They're going to look pretty.
I just, if you're walking down the aisle on your wedding day, what you don't want to see is 3 tearful blondes in the pew.
Well, if Meg, sometimes the bride doesn't turn up.
Yes.
I think it happened to Lofty, didn't it? Yeah, Lofty. on
One of the
EastEnders.
most famous ones, yeah.
Yeah, if that happened, what if he just said, okay, well,
Yeah.
We're all here. You look great.
yeah.
FYI.
How would they-
Absolutely.
and he said, one of you three.
He said,
I'm
there's
going to
one-
marry one of you
If he
three.
said, there's one of you three that I've never actually
I
properly
think
gotten
if he
over.
said to those 3 women, you've got to fight to the death.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the one left standing, I'll marry.
Yeah.
I think they would be prepared to kill each other.
I think that
Yeah.
would break pay-per-view records as well. Even
I think it'd certainly make the news.
They should have to do endurance type tasks. That's how it should be decided.
I mean, in a way, it's a bit harsh inviting them on them. I
Yeah.
wondered if it was a tribute to the late, great Jim Bowen, who died recently.
a bit of a...
Let's see what you would have won.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we're talking about the 3 ladies at the wedding, the 3 exes.
Yeah.
Well, they've been invited.
I have
Whether or
to
not they
say,
turn up is another matter.
I didn't know Ellie Goulding had
Okay.
a relationship with.
Me neither. In fact, I
Dominic.
don't really know who she is. She looks like
Oh,
a young
come on.
Steffi Graf.
You
You know
know
what I
who
mean?
Ellie Goulding is?
No. Why? Who?
She's
What?
one of them singers.
All right.
Yeah.
She did a cover of your song. Do you remember that?
My song.
No,
Yeah.
not your song.
That is what? Did
Yeah,
she do?
that,
I know a song that'll get on your nerves.
No, she did that email corner.
Oh,
she did that. She did that.
E-bag on.
Oh, turns out I do know her. I take
Yeah.
it back.
Yeah, she's a really good example, I think.
Is she?
Well, with those initials.
Oh, very good.
Lovely.
Da, 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 da.
That's lovely. What about when Frank sat next to Example at Wimbledon?
I did think
He was a
that
bit between Example and Serge from Kasabian. It was lovely.
Yes, my problem with Example, if you remember, was
Yeah.
that I said I love that song, blah blah blah. It was actually by there's a sort of band called Example.
Yeah.
I
Right.
said it's not me.
Oh.
But he did. It was turned around when he pointed out that his uncle was Tony Grealish, who played for West Bromwich Albion.
Oh, that's
Who
nice.
knew?
Yeah, you knew that. It
He
said
did.
that I read that Ellie Goulding and Harry apparently were canoodling under a blanket at the polo.
Well, I hope that wasn't recently.
No, but again, People's Prince.
Was it the Cartier polo by any chance?
I don't know, what is the Cartier polo? Is that where they have carts instead of horses?
No, it's sponsored by
a
Cartier.
French event.
I'm not going to lie, I've been.
Horse and Cartier.
Yes, I've done
How
polo.
is it? Is it a good day at the polo?
It's a lovely day. That's all I can say. No, it's very much what you would expect. There's a lot of people, a lot of
how
posh
long-
people in hats, some men in navy blazers and red trousers.
Is it what they have
Those
one
trousers.
game, or is it like a tournament?
I don't really get involved in that.
No.
The only thing I get involved at the end, which is a kind of posh tradition, is what is it called? You'll know, you're sporty, so it's like treading the divots or something. You have to go on and you have to stamp your heels on the field. And then
Oh,
it's,
dear.
Yeah. But it's very much what you'd expect. No one really watches what's going on, Frank. They're all drinking champagne.
No, but I realise now that I don't know how long. I don't know how many a side polo is. I don't
Don't know how many.
Is
aside
everyone
it
on
is.
horses or are some people on foot?
Of course, they're all on horses. There's not some people running around in between the
Well,
horses.
it could be like a battle, cavalry and foot soldiers.
You're really into your history, aren't you?
Some archers play as well. They fire things up a bit.
I like. It's like in the gladiatorial battles when they'd have someone with a net. And
Well,
then,
how long's a game?
I don't know,
like
Frank.
Rugby's 80 minutes, isn't it? It
Do they
always
change
catches me
ends at
out.
half time at rugby?
Yeah,
Not rugby, polo.
Polo.
Same thing.
same thing.
Basically the same thing.
Posh people.
Okay, I'm not condemning. I'm just saying I don't know about it. Surely the horses. How do the horses know they've changed ends at half time?
I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question.
We can't answer any of these questions.
Well, you've
Presumably they're
been.
just
I've
being
been,
led.
but this is my point, is that you just sort of glance at it occasionally and it's lovely
so
to look at. It's not, you're not sitting there.
It's nominally
rooting
about
for
the
people.
sport, but actually it's a social day out.
Well, I
type thing.
remember when
Got
I had my 50th birthday party. I did a speech and I said there's 7 women in the audience.
Oh my God. In the audience, listen to that.
In the audience.
Very telling, isn't it?
They became an audience at that point, who I've had a physical relationship
Oh, you
with.
didn't.
Yeah,
Were you dating
you
someone
did.
at the time when you said that?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, and they know they've all brought partners tonight. A lot of them are people I've never met in my life, and here they are. They get the same free food.
Free food.
Yeah. And I said, I don't mind them coming. I did. I have to say, I did use the word parasites. But in a light-hearted way.
Yeah.
And then,
I'm sure that's how they would have taken it.
and
Yeah,
then
so-
at least one of them, of these men, who's still at the ghetto, forbid an ex to ever see me again, and I think possibly another couple as well, who I just haven't seen since
Because of this speech.
because of a bit of
Oh.
harmless
Bants.
horseplay, as
Verbal
Prince
As they
Jarry
say
would
at the
say.
polo.
Yeah, just a bit of a bit of bands, bit of birthday bands.
It's your special day. You
know
should
what?
be allowed to
It was
make
Exactly.
you make
what
one,
I would like to call a controversial speech.
We got a free party, for goodness sake, and pay, it's all
and
free.
then you
all
made
free.
a well-meaning, harmless remark about parasites.
I know, but you know
mean,
what
come
I'm
on.
like. I said it with
We do.
a twinkle.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Yeah, of course, the Jim Bowen tribute, they had one of those at the parents' marriage as well, to Charles and Diana's marriage.
Did they?
Keep out the black and in the red. You get nothing in this game for 3 in a marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, special. Still missed.
Yeah.
So I think that it could. If I was him, I wouldn't refer to it in the speech. Is basically what I'm saying.
It's
No.
a word of warning from your
It is, yeah.
from your birthday speech.
Because no matter how light-hearted you are about it,
Yeah.
that can go wrong.
I think the girls, come on girls, hang back a bit,
Hey, you've just given me an idea. Maybe the DJ that I think pitched for the job, he could put on "Here Come the Girls" as they come in.
Oh,
The
yeah.
exes could come in sort of a swishy, like with nice hair
A sort
and
of Destiny's
about if they-
Child.
slow mo.
If
Yeah.
they come in V formation.
Oh, nice.
I'd love that.
That would be good.
They got to go for it, haven't they? If they're going to go.
It's a pity there isn't a show called Harry's Angels.
Yeah.
But,
We've had some polo news in,
Oh,
just
we
briefly,
haven't.
from 327. It's 4 aside,
okay.
and you
Hold
change.
on. Is that 4 people and 4 horses, or 2 men and 2 people?
Oh,
I
good
think
question.
that the horse goes with the man.
Okay.
It's 4 aside.
Is it always men?
A pony. I'm sorry, it's not horses, it's ponies.
Is it always men, though?
There are female polo players. You're absolutely right. I knew one once, but it's not that common. It's 4 aside, and you change ends after every goal. It's
After every goal. That's a good idea.
What?
such football, people.
What an upheaval!
After every goal, it is split into chukkers. Have you noticed I've got about 10% posher while
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
saying this? I'm
absolutely.
really aware of it.
Chockers are periods of time, are they?
Exactly.
Are
and
they?
you change pony after each chukker.
Wow.
Come
What?
on.
They swap them
So-
round?
yes.
It's like musical ponies.
It sounds
Is
more
it
like
just
a game of musical chairs.
Yeah.
They're not actually playing the game at all. They're just changing the furniture that
Do
they're
they
on.
swap onto each other's ponies, or do they have just loads
By
of them
the end,
lined up?
Subs.
By the 17th chocker, they're all on one pony. That's how it ends up. Poor thing.
Like,
But it's a lark. You can
those
imagine what a
motorcycle
lark it is.
display teams just with 25 people standing on a horse.
I mean, it might, don't get me. For all I know, it's a brilliant game. I've never seen it. I've never even watched it. It's never on. It's never televised. I've never seen.
The posh people don't need the publicity.
But
I don't
even
think.
on Eurosport,
I mean,
you
when I
never
was at
see
school, we
polo.
never did it at school. We did volleyball
We
about
didn't do it
3
at school.
times, but we never did.
I think we did.
horse
We did
polo.
lacrosse.
Did you?
Yeah, it was lovely.
I used to go out with someone who played lacrosse.
Oh, did you?
What's the name of that? What's the name of the home counties beginning with H?
Hertfordshire.
Hertfordshire, yeah. She played for
Oh.
Hertfordshire.
In one.
Lovely.
In one.
Well done.
Very good. She played for Hertfordshire at lacrosse.
Oh.
She was Native American. She wasn't, but they invented lacrosse, didn't they?
How did they?
I think so.
Do you know, we're getting so much
Good
lovely
info.
sporting knowledge today.
I know, it's
You're
all
going to be
coming out.
dropping chuckers in everywhere, Frank.
I have an idea that chockers used to make briefs when I was at school.
Oh,
People used to wear chocker briefs. Does that ring
Do you
any
know, that
bells?
does sound vaguely familiar.
Yes. I don't know if they were named anyway after the polo fraternity.
No.
I doubt it.
They certainly look like jodhpurs after a few months.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I think we should go to some, a tiny bit of trouble to just clear up that we aren't being classist, because I think we could be opening the door to sort of a little bit of resentful humour. 393 has texted, "Dear Frank, Alun and the fabulous Emily, in polo do the players use jodhpurs for goalposts?" Paul, avid reader.
Very good. The thing about the
I hope
classes...
so.
The thing about the
If you
classes
know what I
thing,
mean.
though...
Yeah.
Does it matter?
No.
I'm really okay with some people who have, old Etonians sitting around
Yeah.
laughing about football and what a mess
Yeah.
it is. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's called having different opinions, I think, and
Yeah.
different backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's fine.
On the subject
And I
of
like to think of
class,
myself as a bridge to both worlds.
Yes.
We've had... sorry, Al, you were going to say...
Me
I'm going to ask
too.
a question.
Yeah.
I have a good friend who's a proper Cockney, very proper Cockney, and is the only person I've ever met that said "core blimey" in a conversation, and I had to stop the chat and rewind it and go, "Did you genuinely just say core blimey?" And do really posh people say "jolly hockey sticks"?
Well, in fairness, you have said "e-bag-um."
Probably, yeah.
So
But I think it's ironic.
Yeah.
I doubt that they do say Johnny Hockey Stick.
they say jolly.
They couldn't say that.
They might say Jolly.
Yeah, I don't
couldn't
know.
say that at the horse polo. could
Look,
they, Jolly hockey
I
sticks?
believe I'm with the
Confusing.
Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder. There is good and bad in everyone.
Yeah.
If you learn to live, learn to give each other what you need to survive.
We're going to have to pay the royalties on that now, aren't we? We're gonna have to...
I don't mind helping him out.
Someone else fell out with people after making a speech, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
363.
Was it Enoch Powell? He definitely did.
Just wasn't expecting that.
Like the Roman I seem
don't
to
carry
see.
on.
I know, I'm doing
Good
it.
reference,
Three-
though.
Yeah. Always stop
Saturday
at
morning
I seem
radio.
to see. That's where I like to leave Enoch's speech. 363. Frank Skinner. It begins.
Yes.
My niece's husband tried to crack a joke in a wedding speech about choosing your friends, but you don't choose your family.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't go down well, and some of his family haven't spoken to him since. 10 years plus.
Oh,
John.
wow.
Oh, that's
I like that it just ends 10 years plus in
quite a
brackets.
good idea, actually.
Well, look,
I might
if
just
any-
write that down.
If any of them are
See if I can
listening,
shake some family off.
if any of them listening, Easter is a time for new beginnings. Why don't we just put that behind you and just get back together again? Come on, guys.
Oh.
You know,
What's
nobody
How
lives
are the
forever.
parasites doing?
Yeah, what's happened to you?
Yeah, but they're different. They might not even be with those
They're
women
different. Al, they're different.
They are.
now. If on one side of the seesaw there is free food and drink, then you gotta have a little bit of malice on the other side. Otherwise, life is a dull thing
Is that
indeed.
just the tax you pay?
Yeah.
Yes.
On going to Frank Skinner's party with
Yeah.
one of his exes. That
It's
is
just,
definitely the entry fee.
It's a deal.
I mean, I'm not going to
caustic
lie.
humour.
I would have loved it. There's no point pretending.
I thought you were. Were you not there?
No, I wasn't
Okay.
sufficiently in a circle then.
Well, you weren't one of the Magnificent Seven. I know
No.
that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
They've chosen a cake as well. Meghan Markle and Harry. They've chosen
M&M.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've chosen a. Let me describe it to you. It's going to involve spring flavours, covered with buttercream, decorated with fresh flowers. I mean, I feel like they're going to end up...
Is it a compost heap?
They're going to end up on a lot of side plates,
It's got a
aren't
bit
they?
stick
The
of the
fresh
dump,
flowers.
stick of the dump cake. I tell you what it is. It's
Except for the very
organic.
drunk people eating the fresh flowers, thinking
That'll be
that
that'll be the
I think you
Exes.
can eat fresh flowers.
That would be me if I was the ex. I'd be in the corner squatting, eating the flowers, crying.
Oh.
Yes.
The organic lemon elderflower cake.
Actually, you know my lost jewellery recovery
Oh yeah.
stories, which I like. All three of them, I suppose, have got. If you take the wedding ring
Yeah.
that Meghan has, that's sort of their lost jewellery.
Yeah.
Hello.
Lovely way of looking at it.
In fact,
Yeah.
Kate, who was split up with Prince William and then got back, she had lost jewellery recovery.
Oh.
Come on,
She
back
did.
me up.
She did. No,
Come with me.
I'm there with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm
follow.
holding your hand.
I don't
You can
really...
see my footprints in the sand.
How
Frank.
many tiers? I don't mean on the Exes, I mean on the cake. Have they said that? I believe the Queen's was
Yes.
9 foot high.
Oh, yeah, hers was a biggie.
Well, what
Wow.
about Queen Victoria? 9 foot wide, weigh 300 pounds.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what was the cake like?
That's why he's on the big box.
Bit of Beardsley and Lineker.
Ah,
He
dear.
crossed that right onto his forehead and he
It
just
was my-
nodded
Yeah.
at
It was
him,
a
didn't he?
Beardsley Lineker moment.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Anyway, the thing about this cake, guys, it's taken 5 weeks.
For them to decide,
No.
or to be made.
To make it.
They've made it already.
No, it's going to take 5
Oh.
weeks to make, I believe.
So I wouldn't have thought that cake making estimation could be that close, would you?
Oh no, I've got that wrong. Apologies. My personal self-correction. It took 5 weeks to make. Who are the other ones that got married? Prince William and Kate's cake.
Oh, yeah.
It took 5 weeks, so that's what they're estimating it will
I
take.
can't cope with this.
No, it's very simple. That's what that cake took to make, so they're estimating it will take the same time
Wouldn't
for
you
this
have
one.
definitely called Chocky Wocky Doodah? I wouldn't even hesitate. That's where you want. If you've got that kind of money, Chocky Wocky Doodah.
I don't know, Chocky Wocky Doodah's work.
Take that back. Are you kidding me? That was a popular reality TV series. There's a shop in Brighton. I think it's spread out now.
Oh yes.
And they make these incredible cakes out of chocolate. So they could have had
Oh,
one
yeah, I've got a vague
with
memory.
oh God, they could have had a whole royal family theme.
and three
thing.
Exes.
Yeah. They could have had the Queen Mother visiting the East End during the war. They
nice.
could have
Well-
done that in chocolate and it would have looked great.
They had, was it? The Queen. Lovely. Have you seen my cake? The Queen and
Yes,
Prince.
the Queen Mother visiting bombed out East End.
Not a lot of cakes with war depictions on them.
Lovingly recreated in sugar. The Queen and Prince Philip, most horrible cake in the world. The Queen and Prince Philip had sugar.
They'd have camped it up a little bit though. They'd have given it a bit of a zhuzh.
They apparently had sugar iced figures to depict their favourite activities.
Who?
The Queen and Prince Philip, on their cake, there were sugared iced figures, or figures made of sugared ice, to depict their favourite activities. That's all I read. Well, that sounds a bit strange.
It does.
I was
doesn't
glad it wasn't Prince Andrew.
Well, even with those, I mean, there must have been a lot of marzipan formed into blood sport themed shape.
Watching the racing on the telly.
Oh, look, a stag having its throat slit on the top of the cake. How lovely.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute
This
Radio.
is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website or phone pension-wise, the pensions guidance.
Nice. Company man. You know,
all a good
recently,
cause.
you know, recently we had an email in asking whatever happened to potpourri. Is it potpourri?
Oh, yeah.
We had somebody doing that. And I've read that Harry and Meghan Markle's cake is organic lemon and elderflower cake. Well, I think we know what's happened to potpourri. It's going in the cake, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
remember a friend of mine was drunk but a bloke came into the pub with a big, lovely buttonhole, and he just ate it off his lapel.
Oh, excellent.
So I couldn't see any. Well, he was a bit sick the next morning, but we expected that. I think wildflowers, if you get the right wildflowers, I think they're fine to eat. So I don't think you'd have to even pick them off.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I've had pansies and things in main courses. Lovely.
Who knows what we've had?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Lovely.
Dandelions don't seem to hurt the rabbits.
I'll tell you what we have had. We've had a text in, an idiotic eureka moment. You know, these moments that
when you realise something that other people haven't realised.
Yes.
You should have realised a long time ago.
This I would call a biggie.
Okay.
Frank has just given me an idiotic eureka moment. Who knew in excess is pronounced in excess? I've seen it written a million times and never said it aloud.
INXS.
Yeah. That is what...
Did it not occur to them?
Maybe they thought it was inks.
Inks.
What if that's what it is?
Oh, I don't... Oh, I can't... we can't rejig it now after all these years
what
of
if
radio.
if they work for, like, you know, one of them worked for Quink and one of them worked for, like, Parker or something.
Oh, yeah.
And that they... Because they all
Good
work
luck
for
with a
various...
lifetime career there.
Yeah. So... they thought, oh no, we'll call ourselves Inks. Yeah, well, I think it is in excess. I'm confident. I think I might have heard it said out loud by others.
Oh, yeah.
Even.
516
Wow,
has
that's
also
a good.
texted.
That is a good one. Though.
Yeah.
516 has also informed us polo is the only sport that you have to play right-handed in the rules.
Wow,
that's a great fact.
Phew, that's got to change.
Good fact.
Yeah. Oh, because it's discriminatory.
Well, surely that's discriminatory.
Sport is
the
discriminatory, though, isn't it?
What about the Southpaws?
Sport is discriminatory. That's just a fact, isn't it?
I saw Anton de Beck recently he's on the telly this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, there goes half our listeners.
Which half?
The Beck chasers, as they call them.
Like people that drive towards storms. There's a group of society that just follow Anton de Beck's every movement.
De Beck's on the telly. Go for it. Blokes with beards and baseball caps.
Some dude with a camcorder.
Get in the Jeep. De Beck's in town. Yeah. But that is an example of a big moment, do you think, that his real name is Tony Beak?
Yes, I think that's a great big moment.
Oh, I did not know that.
You didn't know his real name was
Coming to
Tony
me
Beak. Oh, no,
fresh.
did Daisy.
In fact, it's just crossed the line back into good info.
You know what it is? Instead of a big moment, it's
Into
just...
what?
Good info.
It's also crossed the line into idiotic eureka moments.
Yes.
Oh, Frank, I feel a bit let down.
I asked him once on a show, is it true your real name's Tony Beak? And he just said, not really. It's really vague. And
That's a strange response.
I know.
Clever.
And
Not
he's a
really.
very genial, nice, friendly bloke. But it was just a moment when, like the shadow of a cloud passes over the polo pitch.
Yeah.
It was like that. Is it a pitch?
Polo field, I think.
Polo field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Court. I'm
Okay.
calling it a court. Polo court.
Do the horses?
Oh, you keep asking me the questions.
Do the horses?
Keep them coming.
Excrete
Nay.
mid-game.
Horses never stop excreting.
Well, they do. Stop
They
it. Maybe
must
if
stop
they stop.
excreting.
If
That's
they never
mice. That's
stop.
mice. You've got them terribly confused.
Horses never stop excreting.
Okay.
The name of my new book.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I won't be buying it. If that's an example of the content. I know you can't judge a book by its cover, but
No,
come
but
on.
come on.
You can on
Horses
that
Never
one.
Stop Excreting by Emily D.
It's not a real book, by the way.
It's a bit like Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We should also talk about footy, yeah? Football.
Who invented? That's a question I'd like answered. Who invented
invented-
singing like that?
Well, you and David, probably. You and David.
Isn't it in the
don't
House
have
of Commons it happens?
No, I know it.
Naturally. Listen, if I tried to sing without even thinking about football, here we go. Where is love?
Lovely.
If I think about football, where is... Why does that happen?
I don't know.
I know.
Good question, though. 8, 12, 15. We've got a lot of different texts running.
Yeah.
Why does that happen?
Someone must have invented that sort of singing.
That voice.
Probably right. Anyway, Gareth Southgate, Rod of Iron Southgate, as I will now call him.
Cheer up,
henceforth.
Gareth.
Yeah.
He...
I heard that.
He banned the England squad from having Starbucks food and syrups in their cappuccinos.
No toasties or cakes.
In the hot pursuit of a 1-0 victory over the Netherlands.
A methodical 1-0 victory.
Well, the thing is, he's banned them specifically. I think it was the St George's Hotel, isn't it? And he's banned them specifically from having anything other than tea, coffee, sans syrup, and bottled water.
Okay.
Right.
How is this going to be enforced, though? Because it requires quite an in-depth knowledge of the England team on behalf of the barista.
That's true.
How
That's
would
a
you
good
know?
point. Well, won't they have their England...
Why do they always have to wear
They're
the
always
shirt?
dressed
Won't
in
they be
head-to-foot
wearing
merch.
what I believe is now called their anthem jackets?
Well, you raise an interesting point, because what if some of the more shrewd members of the England squad think, I'm going to tiptoe upstairs and put on civilian clothes, come back down, buy myself a frothy coffee with a syrup,
Yes.
and then I'll go back and put on my anthem jacket.
Or out, maybe
Because-
a trilby and some joke shop goggle glasses.
They could easily
That's
do
what I'd
that.
go
They
for.
could
And a
do that.
moustache.
Because if they put their civvies on, they'll all have a big NY baseball cap.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they'll have Beats headphones
Yeah.
and a wash bag under the arm. They'll still spot them.
You're right.
And a very tight black long sleeve top.
Ah.
Maybe with a bit of distressed action going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that's it. It's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, because it's not like he's told. I'm sure he has told them they can't, but he's also apparently told the staff not to serve them. But are they going to know? I don't know.
Eric Dyer
Are
is.
they going to know Joe Gomez if he
He's
goes
the
in
one
there?
I do know.
Oh, do you
Eric
know
Dyer.
him?
The rest
Okay,
of
what
them I'm
about
a bit
Jordan
hit.
Henderson? I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
know him.
Harry Maguire, I imagine, is often down there for a rap or two.
Yeah.
Would they recognise him?
I think the
I don't
problem
know.
is, it's a bit like they're going to be reduced to teenagers outside the off licence,
Well, what about?
aren't
Do
they?
you remember
Would you
that
go
thing
in, Mark, would
with-
you go in and get me a toasty, please?
Will they do that thing?
Cappuccino.
You know when they can only go in 2 at a time, like school kids used to do at the newsagents.
Handwritten sign.
Yeah.
Only 2 England players
And they
allowed.
have to go in formation. You have to go, if the right back goes in, the left back has to go in with it. You can't go in with a striker.
I just don't like seeing them reduce themselves for a contra caramel latte.
He didn't mention the big coin, which I believe is for sale.
Oh, I
yeah,
thought that was
we
your nickname for the gaffer.
No. But are they allowed to have a big coin?
don't know about the big coin.
Well, he's left that, you see.
I mean, it's a bit of a cheek from someone who did an advert for Pizza Hut.
Exactly.
Now
I'd
suddenly
forgotten
getting Mr. Health Food.
I had forgotten that.
Yeah.
Now he's gone all Danny Drinkwater.
I wouldn't have
Yeah, I did a
minded.
little pun.
I wouldn't
Oh,
have minded
I
if it had been for a pension
missed it.
guidance service. But I mean,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
it was a private thing.
I mean,
ask you
respect to Emily for a Danny Drinkwater joke.
I think that was a good one.
Sorry, I missed that.
I know, it was
darling. Would you do
great.
it again
It
just
went
for me?
no, I can't
Just
do it
for
again.
me.
What just happened to you?
Just for me. I don't know. I have housekeeping to do
I know
as well.
you
The
do.
Fez is at my side. Go on,
It was
please.
great. It was great.
Would
I
you
thought
not
it was
do it
good.
again?
You know what? Listen to the podcast.
Oh, I'll never find the Danny Drinkwater reference. Oh, come on. Come on. I'm not going to
I don't like this pleading side of you. It's-
Ooh.
Oh, you'd be no good in the S&M community.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Have you heard of the acronym NSFW? It stands for not suitable for work. It's what people put on like podcasts if they're swearing, or sometimes they send emails that have images in that are not suitable for work.
Yeah.
You know, at Starbucks, when they ask people their name and then they write on the cup with a Sharpie, Maybe the cappuccinos with a syrup in it are getting NSFW written on them for the England players, because they're technically at work.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good, Al.
So there's not suitable for work coffee now.
Can I ask-
in this day and age.
Now, forgive my ignorance, but what
We do. Next.
What is the syrups? What are the available syrups?
I don't know. I haven't got a
Text
sweet
in.
tooth either, but I'm...
Text in 81215. What are the available syrups?
Yeah.
Are you talking... Okay.
I don't want Elton John.
I was going to say...
Trevon.
Well, I don't think he's your best person to ask either.
No, I wouldn't dare.
Yeah, you're not allowed a syrup meant a different thing to Bobby Charlton than the current England
I'll
team.
tell you what I've seen. They've got slightly French names, I find, some
But
of
what
them.
are they? So I'm guessing vanilla.
Hold your horse, I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
There's one with a banana represented on the front of the
Okay.
bottle. What is that?
That'll be
Banane
banana.
cassis.
That'll be banana.
Vanilla, hazelnut.
Okay.
Those are the only three I feel confident of.
I'm going to try one next week on this show.
Are you?
Are you?
Oh,
I mean, they sound vile, but
yeah.
I'm interested.
You don't really like coffee, so you may
I
as
don't
well
like
add
coffee. I might
vile
as well
to
put-
something
might
you
as well
don't
put
like.
something else in it, yeah. Okay.
Cappuccino with a syrup just makes me think the England squad are babies.
I like that Frank think that's some really daring stunt. I'm going to try live on air a syrup in a coffee.
All in a day's work.
Also,
Just an ordinary Saturday morning for me.
why is Gareth Southgate banning it on the weekend of the game or the week of the game, rather than 6 months before?
Well, he
Like,
can't go
just
to their
asking-
homes.
But how
Stop
quickly
them.
does he think that the obesity is going to set in if they have a sugary coffee?
I know what you mean.
It's going to be like it's a knockout by the time of the match.
They just go up like, remember that bloke in that James Bond film when he puts the air hose into him and he just goes. Well, that does tend to happen to footballers once they've retired. I think it can happen.
Yeah. No names mentioned.
Can I ask a question
Fraser
now?
Ruddock. Yeah.
Can I ask Starbucks?
Yep.
I was the symbol for Starbucks,
Oh yeah,
The
which
mermaid.
is a mermaid,
is it?
has got two tails.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh,
What, you mean when you say tails, you mean backstories or the physical tail?
I mean, she's got, you know how a mermaid
typer.
tapers into a tail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's like, she's forked, is what she is. So she's got a double tail.
Careful.
Yeah,
try my best not to do the joke.
I know.
And
Good.
on the picture, she's holding up the two tails at shoulder level.
Oh.
Makes me wonder what sort of modelling she did
Hang
in her
on.
earlier career. But is it even
Hang
a
on.
thing, a
Are you
two-tailed
sure it's
mermaid?
not? I assumed it was some Neptune or Poseidon, take your pick, type trident.
No,
she's-
it's a leg.
Okay, I'm not going to fall out with you every
Frank thinks she's Tails Akimbo. That's what he's
I
suggesting.
do
do
think
you?
that. Do you remember
Yeah.
Tails Akimbo? I think he was in Guys and Dolls. He was a gangster, but he wasn't one of the bad guys. You know, he just did
No.
a lot of fetching and carrying.
Yeah.
No, she's holding up
Okay.
the two sides of a tail.
Oh,
She's got a double tail.
I don't know what
Anyway,
to say.
if you got any information on this, 8, 12, 15, and you won't be named for tax purposes.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
We've got some Starbucks mermaid
Yeah, info.
Has she got two tails?
The intel is coming in. 257 has said it's not a mermaid. I think it's meant to be a siren seemingly calling you into Starbucks.
Where you'll be dashed on the rocks.
It does say to your death, perhaps, but I don't think I didn't want to get a lawsuit from Starbucks,
No.
so I edited that
They
out.
seem like they could be potentially a bit litigious.
You think?
Do people
It's got a lot of
actually?
money.
Do people go into Starbucks for a meal?
Table for two, please.
No, is that the idea? That's what they're suggesting here. The people say, let's go for a meal. What about Starbucks?
Yeah.
No, I think it's more like an opportunistic, we were having a coffee, but I could have a toasty and a slice of
Well, they do a hot
banana
food.
cake or something.
I see. Okay.
They do a hot food as well.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, I know there's food in there, but I never think of anyone going there for food. But
No,
maybe I'm wrong.
I think they go for drinks
It's
and
like
then
when
just
you're,
stick it on.
you know, when you're in TK Maxx and you see a bookcase
Yes.
for sale, and you
Yeah.
think, Well, I know they do sell other things, but I'm still thinking, not quite right sportswear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I love.
Oh yeah,
Just in case.
I love not quite right sportswear as well. On you, I mean.
I mean, we've
Thanks.
had all sorts of explanations for this Starbucks
Yes.
creature, I'm calling her.
Yeah.
Whether she's a siren or a mermaid. The Starbucks name was chosen after a minor character from the novel Moby Dick, and the logo was made to represent the seductive imagery of the sea, hence the twin-tailed mermaid, or a siren, as they traditionally appeared in Greek mythology. That's from 720.
So the sirens
Good
were
shout.
twin-tailed. Who knew?
Yeah.
It looks a bit like she's putting her fingers in her ears.
I'd
as if
leave it. I'd
someone's-
leave it. Just leave it. What it looks a bit like.
In her ears, fingers, as if someone's got loud music on. And she goes,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like to me.
I'd have thought if you're a twin-tailed, the old Splash thing with
Tom Hanks.
Goldie Hawn.
no, it wasn't Goldie Hawn, was it?
Daryl Hannah.
No, yeah, Daryl Hannah.
Oh, yeah.
It would be easier to pass off as a human being if you were twin-tailed, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
All you need, like, is a pair of... get yourself a pair of tracky bottoms from TK
Yeah,
Maxx.
some big crocs to stick on the end of each tail.
Yeah, big...
fin.
Well, not a crop.
Yeah.
You don't want anything see-through. Oggs.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got Oggs and a nice big baggy pair of things.
Like Ronnie Wood.
Who knows?
Ronnie Wood
Suggesting
going out
Ronnie
to get a
Wood's a
newspaper.
mermaid.
What
saying he likes an Ogg.
if we actually discovered in the course of
Oh.
just inane chit-chat that Ronnie Wood is a mermaid?
This would be breaking
He's got
news.
the lustrous locks.
I can
up top.
see him as a figurehead on the front of an old ship. He's got that.
Yeah.
He looks chiseled.
I can see him that. Like a smoking mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mermaid with a fag on.
Mermaid with a fag on, I know. I know. Love that song.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We should say that Fabio Capello, he banned ketchup, I believe.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yes, he banned ketchup, and he had a rule that the England players couldn't start eating until the captain had sat at the table.
Oh, really?
I hate that.
Didn't work well with that team.
If I was ever on Room 101 as a guest, one of the things I'd put in is having to wait. When the food arrives.
No, I've noticed you
Yeah,
don't like
so-
to wait.
No.
Don't like that.
Also, if you finish first, you get time to really study other people as they're eating, which I like.
Well, I was once told by a friend of mine that the etiquette is to start eating with hot food. But I then realised that friend eats with his mouth open and is disgusting. So why am I taking advice from him on
It's because he's
etiquette?
eating red hot food. It's not let the steam
Maybe
out.
that's what it is. I don't know what the answer is.
I think, isn't it a bit of a Van... Do you remember the Van Halen? I know this is a big moment, but Van Halen, their rider was that the no brown M&Ms.
Yes.
Oh,
So
right.
they asked for a bucket of M&Ms, but no brown ones.
Right.
And they weren't bothered about brown M&Ms, but they thought it was a way of just checking whether the people were attentive to detail and had read
Yeah.
that. And isn't this what the managers do? Really, is saying they're testing their authority, aren't they?
Oh.
Oh, I see.
Lee Dixon told me that when Arsene Wenger started at Arsenal, he banned the jelly beans in the dressing room
Oh,
because
right.
they had a big bowl, and people would just grab a handful on the way out to the pitch. And him being a bit of a dietitian,
Yeah.
he knew that you get a dip.
Very
after-
slim as well.
Get a sugar
he's
crash.
slim. Well, he used to distract. The other thing was, he said they were in the hotel on the Saturday morning. They all got a call at about 10 o'clock
Hello.
saying,
It's us then.
come to the ballroom in your training kit.
So Alan will meet you there. Sounds like some apprentice task.
And it's Arsene Wenger was there, and they did an hour of stretching.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, I can see.
And he
him in
said
his
none of the
face.
players wanted to do it, but Arsene Wenger could put his legs behind his head.
Oh, bet he could.
You may
Seen that
remember
written
it.
on
He
some
got.
walls.
I think he later became the Starbucks mermaid. But once the players saw him do that, it became a competitive thing. So they didn't want the old geezer at the front to be more stretchy than them.
Is that right?
Yeah, clever bloke, Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's never in now, of course. I always see the sign up. Wenger out, wherever. Poor old Arsene Wenger.
As you don't hear these days.
I was on the.
We done?
I went on the Absolute Radio tweet thing. What would you call that?
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sarah Champion's on there dancing to it's from
Oh, I love her
you never can
dances.
tell, is it? Chuck Berry. It's in Pulp Fiction. And she has a gift that I've never managed. Her facial expression looks absolutely natural. Whenever I
dances.
dance, I overthink my facial expression. I can never settle.
All right.
Well, I think there's only one way to see the proof of the pudding.
Yeah.
Well, no, I can't.
Shows you dancing.
I have to. It's what stops me dancing. I can't work out a
Well,
facial
I'm going to have a look
expression.
because I have got a video of you which I took recently dancing to incidental music from Doctor Who.
Yes,
Oh,
well, you
yeah.
check out the facial expression. It'll be self-conscious in the extreme.
Someone's got to. I'm up for the
Self-conscious
job.
in excess.
Oh, yes.
That's what I would say.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.